As Melania Trump steps into the role of First Lady again, she's already cemented her place as one of the most stylish First Ladies ever. Her style is all about minimalism with a twist.
Every day something new.
She loves sleek skirt and jacket sets, bold jumpsuits, and elegant cloak coats. But it's not just simple. Her wardrobe includes statement gowns, hello Dior, and casual shirt dresses. And those accessories? Sky-high Louboutins, oversized sunglasses, and long gloves. They're not just for show. They scream power and confidence, like saying, "I'm here and untouchable."
Would you be a good First Lady, do you think?
Yes, of course.
Now, let's take a look at some of her most memorable outfits. First up, her off-the-shoulder dress at the Salute to Our Armed Services inaugural ball in Washington. Crafted by her go-to designer, Hervé Pierre, this couture dress was created in just 2 weeks, and it's one for the history books. Melania later donated it to the Smithsonian National Museum of American History, where it now lives on as part of the First Ladies exhibit. Talk about a dress with a legacy.
We do have a mannequin for the First Lady, of course, but I won't show it to you. That's really like the naked body, there is no...
Next, there was the ball gown she wore for a black-tie dinner at Blenheim Palace in England. This Grecian-inspired off-the-shoulder gown by J. Mendel made Melania look positively regal on her first official visit to Britain. With its fitted bodice and graceful chiffon drapes, it had elegance written all over it. For a state visit to the Taj Mahal, she stepped out in a white jumpsuit by Atelier Kaito for Hervé Pierre. This was no ordinary jumpsuit. It had a Nehru collar and a decorative sash that gave a subtle nod to the rich cultural heritage of the area. It was stunning, to say the least. Melania sure knows how to pay tribute to history while staying chic. Then there was the cream wrap coat she wore to mark the 75th anniversary of D-Day in Portsmouth, England. Paired with Dior pumps and a stylish Philip Treacy hat, this sleek look by the row screamed elegance and poise.
I feel very comfortable with myself and with my body.
And let's not forget the soft pink ensemble she wore in 2019 during a Valentine's visit to the Children's Inn at the National Institute of Health. Designed by Cedric Charlier, this sweet, soft look was perfect for the occasion, as Melania spent time with the children and their families. It's a rare glimpse of the First Lady in a softer, more approachable light, and she pulled it off flawlessly. A year later, she turned heads again with a bold red trench coat on Valentine's Day. This 1970s-inspired piece by Les Rêveries was paired with navy Louboutin pumps and Saint Laurent sunglasses. It wasn't just a coat, it was a statement. Melania was channeling pure power in that look.
Well, I studied design and architecture, and it's my passion. It's in me.
At the Presidential Medal of Freedom ceremony, she wore an Elie Saab haute couture cocktail dress that reportedly cost a whopping $7,450. This semi-sheer T-length gown was the definition of glam. Talk about living the high life. When Melania welcomed the Colombian president and First Lady to the White House, she wowed everyone in a hot pink Fendi houndstooth coat. It was like she was channeling a real-life Barbie, bold, fun, and totally unforgettable. Seriously, I'm all about this look. One of her most unforgettable moments was when she visited Westminster Abbey in London. She met Queen Elizabeth and the royal family in a gorgeous Dolce & Gabbana dress with navy blue accents, topped off with a matching hat by Hervé Pierre. Talk about making an entrance. She looked every bit the part of royalty herself. It's hard not to imagine the Queen giving her a silent nod of approval.
The design is very important.
And how could we forget her farewell look? For her final day as First Lady, Melania chose a classic Chanel two-piece paired with long leather gloves, a Bottega Veneta bag, and sleek black Louboutin stilettos. It was polished, classy, and totally chic, a perfect send-off for a First Lady who always turned heads. Despite the occasional fashion misstep, like the infamous Zara jacket with its bold, "I really don't care, do you?" slogan, the Manolo Blahnik stilettos she wore to visit flood victims in Texas, or the pith helmet during her trip to Africa, Melania's style has always been bold and attention-grabbing.
Why did you wear it?
I wore the jacket to go on the plane and off the plane, and it was for the people and for the left-wing media who are criticizing me, and I want to show them that I don't care.
But it's not just her fashion that's made headlines. Melania's also caught attention with a few awkward moments alongside her husband. Let's take a closer look. Melania's been missing from major events like the Iowa campaign kickoff and Trump's Super Tuesday victory celebration. She also skipped the hush money trial in Manhattan. It's becoming clear that Melania is more of a see-you-later kind of spouse than a front-and-center supporter.
It is not concern and focus of mine.
Now, could this be because Trump compared Vice President Kamala Harris to Melania during a chat with Elon Musk? Yep, you heard that right.
Actually, she looked very much like a great first lady, Melania. She didn't look like Camilla.
Trump, who's famously not a fan of Harris, suddenly sees a resemblance to his own wife. Honestly, if Melania were listening, she might be offended. After all, if Trump thinks Kamala and Melania look alike, does that mean he's saying he's not too fond of Melania either? It's like a backhanded compliment. If Kamala's not his favorite, then maybe Melania's not getting the love either. Also, during Donald Trump's acceptance speech at the Republican National Convention, where he officially snagged the Republican nomination for the 2024 presidential race, Melania Trump was caught on camera doing what she does best, sidestepping a kiss from her husband. Yep, she just casually dodged it like she was avoiding a bad case of morning breath. Well, it's these little moments that keep us all on the edge of our seats, wondering what's really going on behind those closed doors.
Whether you love me or hate me, you gotta vote for me.
But wait, there's more. This isn't the first time Melania's body language has stolen the show. Remember that World Series game? The one where she smiled sweetly next to Donald for all of 2 seconds before turning away and rolling her eyes as if she was thinking, "Ugh, not again." That clip went viral faster than you could say awkward marriage, with critics quick to point out that Melania has a knack for these less than warm interactions with her hubby.
Don't be rude.
Over the years, she's perfected the art of slapping away his hand, ripping her hand out of his grip, and just flat out walking away from him during photo ops. Speaking of hands, who could forget the infamous umbrella incident in October 2018? Here's how it went down. It was raining, and President Trump, ever the gentleman, was holding an umbrella over his own head, leaving Melania to fend for herself in the downpour. Chivalry is apparently dead, at least in the Trump household. Also, we cannot overlook that 2017 rally where Trump touched Melania's arm, and she shuddered like she'd just touched a live wire. Not exactly a love-struck display, right? Even a fancy fundraiser couldn't make Melania look happier around her husband. At the International Red Cross in Mar-a-Lago, Melania looked like she was already working on her escape plan. It was as if she had a mental map to the nearest exit, plotting her getaway with all the precision of a top-secret mission. Spoiler alert, she didn't succeed.
Never say never.
And let's not skip over their arrival in Israel, where Trump reached for Melania's hand, only for her to swiftly and subtly swat it away. The next day, despite the whole world talking about her hand-swatting skills, she did it again in Rome. But this time, she had a convenient excuse. She needed that hand to fix her hair. Yeah, right. Also, remember when Melania's yellow coat became the talk of Twitter? With her coat strategically draped over her shoulders, she set the internet ablaze once again when a video shared by NBC News showed Trump appearing to fumble awkwardly for her hand as they walked toward their awaiting aircraft. It was like watching a toddler trying to grab a slippery fish. It just wasn't happening.
Oh, and you like all her choices, or are you ever like, what?
No, not all her choices, but tonight I like it a lot. She looks great.
And then there's that cringe-worthy moment when Trump attempted to hold Melania's hand while welcoming French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife, Brigitte, to the White House. Trump tried everything, tapping, curling his pinky, you name it, until Melania finally relented after what felt like an eternity. By the time she grabbed hold, you could almost hear the collective sigh of relief from onlookers who were probably cringing so hard they pulled a muscle. This awkward dynamic isn't new. Remember when Donald and Melania hosted the Czech Prime Minister at the White House? Trump and the Prime Minister dashed inside, leaving Melania and Monica Babišova out in the cold, as if they were extras in a bad sitcom. Melania tried to shuffle around to get in line, clearly unprepared for this frosty reception. And things didn't exactly warm up inside. You can almost feel the lady's frustration radiating through the screen. Oof, the tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. But the pièce de résistance has to be when Melania introduced Donald on stage at a US Air Force event. Normally, this is where you'd expect a sweet peck on the cheek, right? Wrong. Trump greeted her with a pro forma handshake and then, wait for it, gave her a little push, motioning for her to stand off to the side like she was an afterthought. You can't make this stuff up. And who could forget Trump's inauguration? The big day when all eyes were on them. But instead of waiting for his wife or, helping her out of the car like a true gentleman, Trump charged up the White House steps to greet the Obamas, leaving Melania to walk up alone a few paces behind him. It's almost like he was trying to set a new world record for fastest abandonment of a spouse on a historic occasion. Standing awkwardly beside his wife, Trump was no match for Obama's charm as he gracefully kissed Michelle's hand, perhaps leaving Melania to wonder what could have been. Adding to the awkwardness was the inauguration kiss, or rather, its absence. Trump leaned in, presumably aiming for a tender moment, but footage shows the connection was less than smooth. With Michelle and Barack Obama watching, it looked like a romantic comedy scene gone hilariously awry. Then there was that viral gif from the inauguration that everyone was talking about. On the Capitol steps, Trump looked back at his wife, and she responded with a smile that lasted for about 2 seconds. The moment he turned away, her smile turned into a grimace that looked like she had just bitten into a lemon. Even at the inaugural ball, Melania couldn't hide her emotions. Maybe it was just a bad angle, but that didn't stop the internet from buzzing about her seemingly sour expression on the dance floor. Probably the happiest we've ever seen Melania Trump was when she left the White House. Maybe it was the sweet relief of finally being free from the constant duty of being by her husband's side. In a show-stopping outfit, she made her exit with a clear sense of joy and unfiltered happiness. While Trump faced the media alone, Melania practically danced away, her delight at leaving the White House barely concealed. If there was ever a moment that shouted, "I'm so ready for a fresh start," this was it. And let's not forget that infamous like on Twitter.
We're gonna build a wall.
It was the like heard round the world when Melania's personal account hit the heart button on a tweet that read, "Seems the only wall Donald Trump's built is the one between him and Melania Trump. Ouch." Her communications director later claimed that Melania wasn't aware of the like and that they had since changed the passwords. But of course, by then, it was too late. The internet had already had its fun. Then there was the White House Easter egg roll. You'd think it'd be a simple task to put your hand over your heart during the national anthem, but it took a sharp elbow from Melania to remind Trump to follow suit. What a girl boss moment for Melania. And lastly, do you remember his remark at a Republican fundraiser? The one when Trump took the stage and, in his usual unscripted style, joked that First Lady Melania wouldn't be overcome with grief if he ended up in a tragic situation. He compared it to Repier's Steve Scalise's shooting, saying, "Scalise's spouse cried her eyes out when I met her at the hospital that day. I mean, not many wives would react that way to tragedy. I know mine wouldn't." It's almost creepy how it turned out to be a strange bit of foreshadowing, as in 2024, Trump ended up getting shot in the ear himself. Talk about life imitating art. Well, the art of humor, that is. Well, I bet Melania was upset about this. Or so her public statement said. With a track record like this, it's no wonder people are glued to their screens every time the Trumps step out in public. But what do you think? Is Melania really unhappy with Donald? Or is she just not a fan of PDA? Share your thoughts in the comments.